Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Music Den. I'm your host Armando Venditti. Hoping you guys are having a good day and that you're looking after yourselves and one another. I want to welcome you to part 4 of my ranking the album series on Kiss. You made it this far. Congratulations and thank you for joining me. We are going to be counting down numbers 5 to 1. We're in the home stretch of the countdown. Now, as I've said in previous videos, Kiss have released 20 albums in their catalog. So I thought it was easier to do this album ranking because it was me on my own to do it in 4 segments, 5 albums per segment, just to break it up a little bit to make it easier for me and for easier for you to digest. All right. So we're going to start off at number 5. Coming in at number 5 is Animalize. Released September 17th, 1984. This album was produced by Paul Stanley. Associate producer was Gene Simmons. This is the only album to feature Mark St. John on lead guitar. He would leave the band shortly after the recording of the album and the tour due to an inflammation that occurred in his hand where he couldn't play. In came Bruce Kulick. Now, this album, in terms of musical style, continued on the success that they had with Lick It Up. Heavy drumming, heavy guitar, just brutal. Okay. Songs of note for me are the singles. Thrills in the Night, which is my favorite track on the album. Beautiful track. Heavy guitars, heavy drums. The fantastic Heaven's on Fire with the a cappella intro done by Paul Stanley, co-written by Desmond Child. This song apparently was John Bon Jovi's favorite track off the album. Uh, what other songs? Oh yeah, Burn Bitch Burn, cute title, right? From Gene Simmons. Also, another song of note is I've Had Enough into the Fire. Again, this album is heavy. They have not yet donned the Mommy Dearest clothing that Gene Simmons said they would don about a year later, but it's still a heavy album. Fantastic. Coming in at number 4 is Revenge. Released May 19th, 1992. This saw the band ditch their mommy dearest clothing and don more like leather jackets, full leather coats, leather gloves, motorcycle, that kind of look, right? Heavier, slicker album. Um, Basically a return to form, in my opinion, even though the album only went gold in North America. They re-teamed up with Bob Ezrin as producer. Fantastic album. Lead off single, Unholy, Bloody Hell. Written by Gene Simmons and Vinnie Vincent. Vinnie Vincent was given another chance in terms of writing music with the band. And according to Gene Simmons, he also screwed up that one chance. But I won't go into that. Unholy for me was and simply is a fantastic, heavy, down and dirty, balls to the wall rock track. And on the coda, on the ending of it, where you hear Gene go from low to that high pitched, that high octave on the end, just amazing. And then it just stops dead. Boom. Beautiful. Other songs of note are Domino, the second single from the album. Fantastic, fun track, right? Just beautiful. I Just Wanna, the other single from the album. Spit is a good song, heavy song. Take It Off, you know, yeah, Paul Stanley talking, about women, certain women that he likes. Other songs of note, Heart of Chrome, God Gave Rock and Roll to You, which features the last time that Eric Carr would be featured in a video with the band. He was going through cancer treatment at the time. Heavy album, just brutal. Amazing album. I love it. I think it's great. Coming in at number 3 is Destroyer. Released March 15th, 1976. This was the band's album after the first album after the success of Alive. Now, at this point, Bill O'Coin said, "No, you can go back to what you were doing with Dressed to Kill and Harder Than Hell in the debut album, or you can make Alive the start of something different." So they teamed up with Bob Ezrin, and they came up with what would become Destroyer. Songs of note on the album: Detroit Rock City, the lead-off track; God of Thunder, Paul Stanley's track; the lush, majestic, beautiful Beth, the piano ballad, which incidentally was the B-side to Detroit Rock City; Flaming Youth, which was the lead-off single from the album, which starts off side 2. And when Flaming Youth was released as a single, it really didn't do anything. Do You Love Me, the final track on the album; Sweet Pain, a Gene Simmons track; Shout It Out Loud, another single from the album. Overall, 9 tracks, if you count the 10th little blip at the end there, that's called Rock and Roll Party. It's a good album. It was different. You didn't hear Kiss using piano, descending piano chords on Shout It Out Loud. You didn't hear them use a symphony or an orchestra for Beth. What happened with Beth and Detroit Rock City? Beth was the B-side to Detroit Rock City, and the DJs at the radio station started to flip over the single and play Beth instead of Detroit Rock City. Ergo, you have your hit, right? They called it a very happy accident. So, and it opened up the band to a different fan base, right? Good album. Has it aged? Some of the tracks have aged well, some haven't, but I mean, I love God of Thunder. I don't care how old I am. That's number 3. Coming in at number 2 is Harder Than Hell. Released October 22nd, 1974. This was the band's second album. And the first album was released February 18th. This one was released again October 22nd. Short time span. They had moved to LA to write the album. The album again was produced by Kenny Kerner and Richie Wise. The album does suffer from production deficiencies in terms of the sound. Has a very muddy sound, but it's still iconic. Songs like Got to Choose, the lead-off track; Going Blind, just amazing. Also, oh yeah, I forgot, Parasite, the Ace Frehley track. That is just a monster. With Gene Simmons on lead vocals. At this point, Ace Frehley wasn't comfortable singing lead, so he would have either Paul or Gene sing lead on the tracks. Amazing rhythm guitar on this. And Gene's vocals on this, over the top, just bloody brilliant, amazing. Other songs of note: the title track, Harder Than Hell; Let Me Go Rock and Roll; Watching You, which live is amazing. And another track of note for me is Coming Home, the co-write between Paul Stanley and Ace Frehley. Just brilliant. Brilliant. Now, coming in at number one is really no surprise, the debut. Again, released February 18th, 1974. This album has a bit of a history. The original pressing, the distribution for the album was done through Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers did not want to promote Kiss. There was an internal memo sent around the offices at Warner's saying, do not push this album. We don't want anything to do with this album. Do not push the album at all. Do not promote it. Kill it, basically. A friend of Neil Bogart at Warner's sent him the memo on the DL. And Neil Bogart hit the roof. He called them, he called Warner's and said, what are you guys doing? And he said, well, Neil, we really don't think this band is going to make it. We don't want to have anything to do with them. He left Warner Brothers due to that discussion. He had that much conviction and belief in the band that he left his distribution deal. He backed out of his distribution deal with Warner Brothers and started distributing Casablanca Records independently. Right? Now, this album has been played to death on radio. Yes, it has. Is it a classic? Damn right it is. With songs like Deuce, which would start their concerts for the first 4 years of their touring cycle. Strutter, another amazing track. Nothing to Lose, the lead-off single from the album. Cold Gin, right? The Ace Frehley pen track, just amazing. 100,000 Years, which on the Alive album is a 12-minute version of the track with a Peter Criss solo. Just amazing. Love Theme from Kiss, the instrumental. Love Theme from Kiss started out as a track called Acrobat. And if you watch the Kissology Volume 1 set, the intro video is them performing very bad video quality, but it is them performing the track Acrobat live in early 73, 74. Just amazing, right? Black Diamond. Okay. All these songs that I mentioned in the early years of Kiss were concert staples. People knew them. People shook their ass to them. People, bashed their heads to them. Just headbanging, whatever. Just an amazing album. Okay. Is it a cop-out to, list the debut as a number one on my list? Maybe, but you know what? It is what it is. I love this album. I think it's amazing. The original version had 9 tracks. They did a repressing of the album with an additional track called Kissin' Time. It was a cover track that they did. The band didn't want to release it, didn't want to record it. But Neil Bogart said, look, you need promotion. You need to move some units. We're going to re-record. We're going to re-release the album with this track on the album. We're going to do a kissing contest at a local radio station in New York, and we're going to get people in. They're going to listen to it, and they're going to like it. The band didn't want to do it. They did it under duress. But you know what? Whatever version you have of the album, it's still good. It's still good. I believe I have the 9-track version of the album. Okay. So there you go, guys. Ranking the album series on Kiss from 20 to 1. Hopefully you've watched all 4 segments. Hopefully you picked one segment that you liked better than the other ones, whatever one you wanted to watch first. Doesn't matter as long as you watched the episodes. I really enjoyed doing this. And again, in the comments below, put your choices for number 5 to 1. Right? It doesn't have to be from the 70s, could be from any era of the band. All right. Again, thank you for watching. I've enjoyed doing this. I will be back with Bill Schuster. Bill's been taking care of some stuff lately, but we will be back. We talked about doing an album discussion episode on Nectar, Remember the Future at some point, and we're going to be doing some more album rankings soon. So for now, please look after yourselves and one another. I am Armando Venditti signing off, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.